The 1946 wheat penny without a mint mark is one of those fascinating treasures in the world of American coinage that has captured the imagination of collectors for decades. At first glance, this copper coin may appear ordinary to anyone unfamiliar with numismatics, but its hidden qualities elevate it far beyond the status of simple pocket change. Minted right after the end of the Second World War, this penny tells a story that blends history, economics, and artistry in a single small piece of metal. For many collectors, it symbolizes resilience, transition, and rarity, making it one of the most desirable finds among wheat cents. The absence of a mint mark is significant, as it identifies the Philadelphia Mint as the place of origin, a facility known for producing massive quantities of coins, yet leaving out the mint mark that Denver and San Francisco coins carried. This tiny detail transforms the piece into a distinctive collectible, with top-quality examples commanding extraordinary values, sometimes as high as $6,600 in pristine condition. What makes the 1946 wheat penny especially intriguing is its connection to the post-war American economy. The country was shifting from wartime production to peacetime growth, and coinage reflected that change. Made from an alloy of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, these pennies carried a composition that echoed the pre-war standard, unlike the emergency, steel cents of 1943. Holding one feels like grasping a slice of mid-20th century history, a reminder of the country's transition toward prosperity. The Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of these coins, yet finding one today that has survived the decades in flawless, uncirculated condition is a serious challenge. That scarcity of high-grade examples is what drives collectors to bid thousands of dollars at auctions, pushing the value up to the remarkable figure of $6,600 for the finest specimens. On the obverse, or the front side of the coin, the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln takes center stage. Designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, this image had already become deeply ingrained in American culture by the mid-1940s. Lincoln's profile faces right, with his thoughtful expression embodying leadership and dignity. The word liberty sits to his left, while the motto, "In God We Trust," crowns the top of the coin. Just to the right of Lincoln's chest is the year 1946, a simple marking that tells us precisely when this little piece of copper began its journey. The absence of any mint letter beneath the date signals that it came from Philadelphia. Every line of Lincoln's coat and every detail of his hair on higher-graded examples can be seen with striking clarity, making sharpness of design a crucial factor in grading and value. Turning to the reverse, one finds the signature design that gives the wheat penny its name. Two stylized wheat stalks curve along the left and right edges, framing the inscriptions. The bold words "1 cent" dominate the center, with United States of America directly below. At the very top, the Latin phrase "e pluribus unum," meaning out of many, one, completes the patriotic symbolism. The wheat design was chosen to represent both agriculture and prosperity, themes that resonated strongly in early 20th century America. On well-preserved examples of the 1946 no-mint mark penny, the wheat lines remain crisp, and the fields behind the lettering are smooth and free of blemishes, qualities that dramatically increase collector demand and ultimately drive up market value. What truly sets this coin apart, however, is its combination of historical backdrop and condition rarity. While millions were produced, circulation quickly wore down most examples. The average penny from 1946 likely spent decades in everyday use, buying candy, newspapers, or small household items until it became just another worn copper disc. That is why discovering an untouched, bright red mint state coin is so thrilling. Professional grading services such as NGC and PCGS play a vital role here. A coin certified at the highest grade levels, such as MS-67 or MS-68, becomes almost a crown jewel in any wheat penny collection, with price tags soaring to $6,600 or more. Collectors place immense trust in these grading bodies, and a slabbed coin with a superior rating can fetch premium prices far above an uncertified one. The appeal of the 1946 Wheat Penny also lies in its accessibility. Unlike ultra-rare coins, struck in only a few thousand pieces, this one remains findable in lower grades, allowing new hobbyists to own a piece of history without breaking the bank. For beginners, picking up circulated examples for just a few cents can spark curiosity and lead them into deeper exploration of numismatics. Yet for advanced collectors, the thrill comes from the chase for the finest known example, the coin with blazing luster, sharp details, and absolutely no distracting marks. That challenge, combined with the coin's wartime to peacetime significance, has turned the 1946 no-mint mark Wheat Penny into a star among mid-century American coinage. Auction records continue to show strong interest in this coin. Collectors have paid thousands for gem-quality pieces, and with growing interest in vintage U.S. currency, the trend appears to be rising. Market experts note that wheat pennies, especially from the 1940s, hold a special nostalgic place for many Americans who remember using them in their youth. As that nostalgia fuels demand, values keep climbing, particularly for coins like the 1946 no-mint mark issue. When a near-perfect example comes to auction, bidding wars erupt and final hammer. Prices can surprise even seasoned numismatists. That is how we arrive at the impressive figure of $6,600, a value that would astonish anyone who once spent this penny on a simple item in the 1940s. For storytellers, history enthusiasts, and investors alike, the 1946 no-mint mark Wheat Penny embodies more than just copper and inscriptions. It embodies an era. Each piece whispers tales of a nation recovering from war, a mint returning to traditional coinage, and a design that had already become iconic in the hearts of the people. Its survival into the present day, especially in brilliant, untarnished condition, adds a sense of wonder and rarity that no modern coin can match. Collectors treasure it not only for its monetary value, but also for the sense of connection it provides to a defining moment in American history. In conclusion, the 1946 Wheat Penny without a mint mark stands tall as a symbol of resilience, rarity, and reward. Whether admired for its historical background, sought for its artistic design, or pursued for its extraordinary market price, this coin holds an undeniable charm. From the portrait of Abraham Lincoln to the wheat stalks symbolizing prosperity, every detail contributes to its identity as a cherished artifact of American culture. And with pristine examples valued up to $6,600, it represents both a tangible link to the past and a powerful reminder that even the smallest coin can hold immense worth. Next up, 1950, Wheat Penny with D mint mark, valued at $6,300. The 1950 Wheat Penny bearing the D mint mark is one of those captivating mid-century coins that has earned a special reputation in the numismatic community for its blend of history, scarcity, and collector demand. Struck at the Denver Mint, this little piece of copper carries a level of fascination that goes far beyond its face value of 1 cent. To the casual observer, it might seem like nothing more than an old coin that once rattled around in grocery store tills, but to collectors and historians, the 1950 D wheat cent is a valuable artifact, with pristine specimens selling for as much as $6,300 in today's marketplace. Its enduring desirability arises from both the specific circumstances of its production and the striking quality of well-preserved examples. The post-war era of 1950 represented a significant turning point in American history. The nation had transitioned from the sacrifices of World War II into an age of economic optimism, consumer culture, and expanding suburbs. At the same time, the United States Mint continued producing coinage for a rapidly growing population, yet not all mints produced equal numbers. Denver, identified by the D mint mark directly beneath the date, often turned out smaller mintages compared to Philadelphia. This lower production figure, combined with the challenges of finding coins in top grades after decades of circulation, created the foundation for the 1950 D Wheat Penny's status as a sought-after rarity. For collectors today, the Denver issue has a stronger allure because high-end survivors are far less common than their Philadelphia counterparts. Examining the obverse design, the coin proudly features the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln. Victor David Brenner's iconic 1909 design had already been in use for more than 4 decades by 1950, and yet it retained timeless appeal. Lincoln's profile faces right, his thoughtful gaze captured in clean detail when preserved properly. Above him rests the national motto, "In God We Trust." To the left appears the word liberty, and just to the right of his portrait is the date 1950. Beneath the date, small yet highly significant, is the letter D, denoting Denver. Collectors place great emphasis on this tiny mark, as it defines the coin's origin and separates it from the countless no-mint mark examples struck elsewhere. On high-grade specimens, the sharpness of the lettering, the clarity of Lincoln's features, and the overall luster are crucial elements in determining true market value. Turning to the reverse, one encounters the defining feature of the Wheat Cent series. Flanking the inscriptions are 2 elegantly curved wheat stalks, which symbolize agricultural prosperity and the strength of the American farmer. Centered between them are the bold words, "1 cent," and directly beneath, "United States of America." Above the design sits the Latin motto, "E pluribus unum," meaning, out of many, one. The symmetry of the design and the balance between patriotic slogans and agrarian motifs reflect early 20th century ideals, and by 1950, this classic reverse had already become beloved by millions of Americans. For collectors, sharp lines on the wheat ears, clean surfaces, and minimal contact marks on the fields make the difference between a coin worth a modest sum and one commanding thousands of dollars. The allure of the 1950 D Wheat Penny lies not only in its design, but also in the challenge of finding superb examples. While the Denver Mint produced millions of these coins, nearly all entered circulation, where they were subjected to decades of wear. A typical 1950 D cent shows flattened details, scratches, and discoloration from years of handling. For advanced collectors, such circulated examples hold little appeal beyond filling a space in an album. What truly excites the market are the specimens that escaped circulation entirely, tucked away in rolls or sets, where they retained their original copper-red brilliance. These mint state survivors, especially those with a grade of MS-67 or higher, are astonishingly scarce, which explains why auction bidders are willing to pay up to $6,300 for the finest pieces. Grading plays a pivotal role in determining the value of this coin. Professional services such as PCGS and NGC evaluate each detail, from the sharpness of Lincoln's jawline to the absence of distracting marks in the fields. Coins graded MS-66 and above often show radiant luster, crisp definition in the wheat, stalks, and full legibility in every inscription. For investors, certification offers confidence, ensuring authenticity and condition. The difference of a single grade point can mean hundreds or even thousands of dollars in value. That dramatic leap between lower quality examples and elite gems explains why competition is so intense among serious collectors seeking the very best. Another reason for the 1950 D Wheat Penny's fame is its place within the broader Wheat Cent series. By the mid-20th century, Lincoln cents had already become an American tradition, but collectors were beginning to view them as more than pocket change. The coin-collecting hobby was gaining popularity, fueled by returning soldiers, a booming economy, and the growth of numismatic clubs. The Denver issue of 1950 soon stood out as one of the better-performing coins in the series, particularly in top condition. Generations of collectors have since sought to add this issue to their sets, keeping demand consistently high. Auction records provide a fascinating glimpse into the coin's journey through the marketplace. Over the past several decades, prices for the highest grade 1950 D Wheat Pennies have climbed steadily, reflecting both scarcity and the growing recognition of mid-century coinage as a desirable investment category. Stories abound of lucky individuals who discovered bright, uncirculated rolls hidden away in bank vaults or old family estates, only to realize that their seemingly ordinary pennies were worth thousands. Each time such a roll surfaces, collectors and investors alike rush to acquire the most flawless specimens, knowing that once they are absorbed into private collections, opportunities to purchase them may not arise again for many years. The coin's enduring charm also lies in the emotions it evokes. For those who lived through the 1950s, the wheat penny is a nostalgic reminder of a simpler time, when a single cent could buy candy or contribute to a childhood savings jar. For younger generations, it represents a tangible connection to grandparents or great-grandparents, a small piece of copper that witnessed mid-century America in its daily life. Owning a 1950 wheat penny, particularly in superb condition, is like holding a time capsule of post-war optimism and growth. That combination of historical resonance and monetary reward keeps the coin in high demand year after year. Investors see the 1950 as a coin with potential for continued appreciation. As the supply of top-grade survivors remains fixed and demand continues to grow worldwide, the market value shows no sign of fading. Coins valued today at $6,300 may climb higher as more collectors in emerging markets turn their attention to classic American coinage. With the popularity of certified numismatics rising globally, coins like the 1950 penny are positioned to remain important assets for those seeking diversification beyond traditional investments. In conclusion, the 1950 wheat penny with the Denver Mint mark is much more than a small copper disc. It is a symbol of history, artistry, and rarity. From its distinct D mark beneath the date to its enduring wheat ear reverse, every detail tells a story of mid-20th century America. The scarcity of flawless survivors, combined with the nostalgia it inspires, ensures that this coin remains a star of the Wheat Penny series. And with values reaching $6,300 for top-grade examples, it demonstrates yet again how even the humblest coin can transform into a coveted treasure. Next up, the 1953 wheat penny carrying the D Mint mark is a remarkable collectible that blends historical context, scarcity in high grades, and immense nostalgic appeal. Produced at the Denver Mint, this coin may seem like just another small copper cent at first glance, but its story runs much deeper. For collectors of American coinage, the 1953 wheat penny represents a post-war era when the United States was stepping confidently into a new chapter of prosperity, invention, and cultural transformation. Yet, despite being struck in large numbers, only a fraction survive in pristine, untouched condition. This combination of history, artistry, and rarity gives the coin strong market appeal, with top-graded examples fetching as much as $6,000 today. To fully appreciate why the 1953 penny is so highly regarded, it's important to consider the period in which it was minted. The year 1953 was a pivotal one in American history. Dwight D. Eisenhower had just been inaugurated as president, television was rapidly transforming family entertainment, and the nation was embracing its role as a global leader during the early years of the Cold War. Against this backdrop, everyday pocket change may have seemed trivial, yet each coin carried the weight of a growing economy and a culture on the rise. The Denver Mint, tasked with producing large quantities of coinage to meet the demands of a booming population, struck millions of wheat cents that year. However, as is often the case, sheer production numbers don't tell the whole story. The difficulty of finding coins in near-perfect, uncirculated condition has elevated the 1953 penny into the ranks of sought-after rarities. On the obverse, the coin features the timeless portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to honor the centennial of Lincoln's birth, this image had become deeply embedded in the American consciousness by the mid-20th century. Lincoln's profile faces right, captured with fine detail that, when well preserved, showcases the artistry of the engraver. Above Lincoln's head is the national motto, "In God We Trust," while the word liberty appears to his left. The date, 1953, sits prominently to the right, and just beneath it lies the key feature, a small D, confirming that the coin was minted in Denver. For collectors, this tiny letter adds significant interest, distinguishing the coin from its Philadelphia and San Francisco counterparts. The sharpness of Lincoln's features and the clarity of the inscriptions make all the difference when grading the coin, with the finest examples displaying remarkable strike quality and glowing copper luster. The reverse of the 1953 D penny carries the iconic wheatier design that defines this beloved series. Two graceful stalks of wheat curve along the outer edges, enclosing the bold central inscriptions, 1 cent and United States of America. Above them, the phrase, E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one, crowns the design. By the 1950s, this imagery had become symbolic of a century of American resilience and agricultural strength. On coin that have survived untouched for decades, the detail within the wheat stalks remains sharp, with each vein visible under magnification. The smoother the fields, the brighter the luster, and the more vibrant the coloration, the more desirable the coin becomes to serious collectors. Such attributes directly influence the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one commanding thousands. The real intrigue of the 1953 D penny lies in its rarity at the highest grades. While the Denver Mint produced vast quantities, the vast majority entered circulation almost immediately, where they endured years of wear in commerce. These coins purchased candy, newspapers, and everyday essentials, slowly losing their brilliance with each exchange. As a result, most surviving examples today show significant wear, scratches, or discoloration. What makes the coin truly exceptional are the few pieces that remained hidden away, untouched in rolls or bags, retaining their original copper-red brilliance. These are the specimens that professional grading companies, such as PCGS and NGC, evaluate carefully. Coins certified at the elite levels of MS-67 or higher are incredibly scarce, and those rare survivors are the ones that bring in record auction prices, sometimes reaching $6,000. The process of grading such coins reveals just how meticulous numismatics can be. Collectors and investors seek examples with blazing red luster, strong strikes, and clean surfaces. The presence of even the smallest blemish can reduce a coin's grade and, in turn, its market value by hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Coins with full red coloration, designated as RD by grading services, are the most desirable, followed by RB for red-brown and BN for brown examples. The 1953 D penny, in full red condition and top grade, shines like a tiny time capsule from the Eisenhower era. Its surfaces reflect the artistry of the mint and the durability of copper alloy, making it a prize for any collection. For numismatists, the 1953 D is also a key piece in assembling a complete set of wheat pennies. The series ran from 1909 to 1958, covering a span of nearly 50 years and multiple historical eras. Each year and mint mark tells its own story, and the Denver issues from the early 1950s have long been recognized as challenging to find in gem condition. Collectors who aim for completeness must include the 1953 D, making demand consistently high. This constant interest, paired with limited supply in superior grades, ensures that the coin remains valuable and relevant in the marketplace. Auction history further illustrates the coin's appeal. Over the years, pristine examples of the 1953 D Wheat Penny have crossed the block at major numismatic sales, attracting intense bidding from collectors and investors alike. Prices have steadily climbed, reflecting both the coin's scarcity in the highest grades and the broader trend of increasing demand for mid-20th century American coinage. Stories circulate of collectors who once overlooked these pennies as common, only to discover decades later that the right coin in the right condition could be worth thousands. That element of surprise, turning a humble cent into a potential windfall, is part of what keeps interest in the series alive. Beyond its monetary value, the 1953 D penny carries a layer of cultural meaning. For those who grew up during the 1950s, it represents a childhood memory. A penny dropped into a gumball machine, a cent tucked away in a piggy bank, or change counted out at a corner store. For younger generations, it offers a tangible link to parents or grandparents, a simple copper disc that embodies a time of optimism, growth, and community spirit. Holding one today, especially in mint condition, is like holding a snapshot of an era defined by post-war confidence and the beginnings of modern America. The investment potential of the 1953 D Wheat Penny is another reason for its ongoing popularity. As high-grade examples become increasingly scarce, values are expected to rise. Coins certified at the MS-67 level are already difficult to obtain, and as more collectors seek to build premium sets, competition will only intensify. The $6,000 market value for the best survivors is not a ceiling, but potentially a stepping stone, as numismatic trends continue to favor coins from this period. With interest in vintage American currency spreading internationally, the 1953 D penny enjoys a global market, expanding its desirability beyond U.S. borders. In summary, the 1953 Wheat Penny with the Denver Mint mark is far more than an old cent. It is a symbol of history, artistry, and enduring value. From its sharp Lincoln portrait and iconic wheat reverse to its scarcity in gem condition, every aspect contributes to its place in the numismatic spotlight. For collectors, it represents both a challenge and a reward, an essential part of the wheat cent series that connects them to mid-20th century America. And with pristine examples valued at $6,000, it stands as proof that even the most modest coin, when preserved against the odds, can transform into a cherished treasure. Next up, 1957. Wheat Penny with no mint mark, valued at $5,800. The 1957 Wheat Penny without a mint mark may appear at first as just another ordinary cent, yet in the world of numismatics, it represents a fascinating piece of American history that can command impressive value. Minted at the Philadelphia facility, which traditionally did not stamp its coins with a mint mark, this copper penny belongs to the final years of the wheat cent series. Its significance lies not only in its place within the timeline of U.S. coinage, but also in the scarcity of superbly preserved examples that continue to attract collectors. Today, high-grade specimens of the 1957 no-mint mark wheat penny can reach remarkable prices at auction, with the finest pieces valued at up to $5,800. This transformation from a 1-cent coin into a 4-figure collectible highlights the extraordinary role that condition, rarity, and historical context play in the coin market. To understand the importance of this coin, we must look at the era in which it was created. The year 1957 stood near the end of the wheat penny's journey, as just a year later, in 1959, the U.S. Mint would replace the wheat reverse with the Lincoln Memorial design in honor of Lincoln's 150th birthday. This change meant that the 1957 penny became part of the last full years of a design that had circulated since 1909. For collectors, coins from the final years of a series often gain special recognition, as they symbolize the close of an era. At the time, the Philadelphia Mint struck millions of these coins, feeding the needs of a bustling economy. However, over the decades, countless examples were worn down through heavy circulation, leaving only a fraction of mint state survivors to carry forward the legacy of the design in its full beauty. The obverse of the coin features the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln, sculpted by Victor David Brenner nearly half a century earlier. By 1957, this portrait had already become an American icon, admired for its detail and symbolism. Lincoln's face, turned to the right, displays a calm, reflective expression, reminding citizens of his leadership during the nation's most trying years. Above his head, the national motto, "In God We Trust," stands prominently, while the word liberty rests to his left. To the right appears the date 1957, clean and simple, without any mint letter beneath it, a clear indicator that the coin was minted in Philadelphia. On well-preserved examples, Every strand of hair, every fold in Lincoln's coat, and every crisp letter in the inscriptions can still be seen with remarkable sharpness, demonstrating the artistry of the engraver and the skill of the mint. Flipping. To the reverse, we encounter the design that gives the wheat penny its popular nickname. Two stylized wheat stalks frame the inscriptions, arching gracefully along the left and right edges of the coin. The bold words 1 cent dominate the center, with United States of America appearing just below. At the top, the Latin motto E pluribus unum, translated as out of many, one, completes the design. These elements together symbolize unity, agriculture, and prosperity, themes deeply tied to the American identity in the early 20th century. On high-grade examples, the wheat lines remain bold and distinct, and the fields between the lettering shine with their original, copper-red luster. This sharpness, paired with the coin's radiant brilliance, is what pushes the value of the 1957 no-mint mark wheat penny into the thousands. The rarity of this coin in top condition is what drives its value so high. Although millions were struck, most spent decades passing from hand to hand, losing their shine and accumulating nicks, scratches, and wear. The average 1957 penny seen today is brown, worn down, and worth only a few cents. Yet for the lucky collector who comes across a coin preserved in mint condition, with glowing red surfaces and flawless details, the story is entirely different. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC evaluate these coins with a keen eye, awarding higher grades like MS66, MS67, or beyond to the very best. At these grades, the value skyrockets, with the finest known examples commanding up to $5,800 at auction. That leap from pocket change to thousands of dollars makes this coin one of the most exciting finds among late wheat pennies. For collectors, the 1957 no-mint mark penny is particularly significant because it comes from the tail end of the series. Many who pursue wheat pennies aim to complete a full set from 1909 to 1958, and every year and mint mark plays an essential role. The 1957 issue, being one of the last, often attracts extra attention from those who appreciate the closing chapters of a classic design. The absence of a mint mark adds another layer of identity, linking the coin to the Philadelphia Mint's long tradition of producing coins without additional markings. This makes the 1957 no-mint mark cent distinct from its Denver and San Francisco counterparts, giving collectors yet another reason to seek it out. Auction history has shown strong and consistent demand for this issue in high grades. When a gem-quality 1957 penny without a mint mark comes up for sale, collectors are often willing to engage in fierce bidding wars, recognizing both its rarity and its historical appeal. The coin's luster, strike quality, and overall eye appeal all contribute to the final hammer price, with even small improvements in quality leading to significant jumps in value. Stories of such coins emerging from old rolls, untouched for decades, only add to the mystique. Imagine finding a roll of 1957 pennies hidden away in a desk drawer with one or two flawless gems inside. What once represented a mere 50 cents could today represent tens of thousands of dollars. Nostalgia also plays an important role in the coin's enduring charm. For Americans who grew up in the 1950s, the wheat penny was a part of everyday life. It was a coin given as allowance, used in vending machines, or dropped into jukeboxes to play a favorite tune. For younger generations, it represents a tangible connection to grandparents or parents, a piece of copper that once traveled through a world both familiar and different. Collectors often speak of the emotional satisfaction of holding such coins, not merely as financial investments but as artifacts that link them to a broader cultural story. The 1957 penny in particular embodies the optimism of late 1950s America while standing as a final salute to the wheat design before its replacement. From an investment perspective, the 1957 no mint mark wheat penny remains a solid choice. While not as rare as some earlier wheat cents in terms of mintage, its scarcity in gem condition and the consistent demand from collectors ensure strong market performance. Coins valued today at $5,800 may rise further as the supply of pristine survivors shrinks and the demand for complete wheat cent sets grows worldwide. With numismatics expanding beyond U.S. borders and gaining recognition in international markets, the potential for appreciation continues to increase. In conclusion, the 1957 wheat penny without a mint mark is a coin that blends historical resonance, artistic design, and rarity into a captivating collectible. From its sharp Lincoln portrait to its graceful wheat ear reverse, it showcases the craftsmanship of mid-20th century coinage. Its place at the end of the wheat series adds to its significance, while the scarcity of uncirculated survivors elevates its market value to impressive heights. With top-grade examples commanding as much as $5,800, it serves as a reminder that even the most common-looking coins can hold extraordinary worth when preserved with care. For collectors and historians alike, the 1957 no-mint mark wheat penny is a small but powerful piece of America's story, one that continues to shine brightly more than 6 decades after it was struck. Next up, 1958, wheat penny with no mint mark, valued at $5,500. The 1958 Lincoln. Wheat penny with no mint mark is a fascinating coin that represents the final chapter of one of America's most beloved coin designs, produced at the Philadelphia Mint. This penny carries immense historical and collectible significance. The absence of a mint mark indicates its Philadelphia origin, as the mint traditionally did not place identifying marks on coins struck there. This was the last official year the wheat reverse design appeared on the Lincoln cent before being permanently replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. Because of this transitional importance, the 1958 no-mint mark wheat penny has become a symbol of both nostalgia and numismatic interest, bridging 2 eras of American coinage history. Collectors prize this coin not only for its connection to the past, but also for its scarcity in higher grades. While millions of these pennies were minted, very few survive today in pristine condition. The majority entered circulation, enduring decades of handling, scratches, and environmental wear. However, uncirculated examples with sharp strikes and strong details command high premiums at auctions and private sales. A particularly well-preserved 1958 wheat penny without a mint mark can achieve a market value as high as $5,500, especially if certified by reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC. These organizations evaluate the coin's authenticity, strike quality, luster, and overall preservation, ensuring collectors that they are obtaining a truly exceptional piece. The design itself is deeply admired. On the obverse, the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln faces right, designed by Victor David Brenner to honor the nation's 16th president on the centennial of his birth in 1909. Brenner's initials, VDB, can be seen near the rim of certain issues, but on the 1958 coin, they are subtly placed along the truncation of Lincoln's shoulder. The reverse features 2 wheat stalks encircling the denomination 1 cent and the motto E pluribus unum, creating a classic agricultural theme that symbolized prosperity and unity during its nearly 50-year run. By the late 1950s, however, the design was seen as outdated, prompting the change to the memorial reverse in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This historical timing makes the 1958 wheat cent a final farewell to a design cherished by generations of Americans. One of the most exciting aspects of this penny is its role in numismatic transition. Because it was the very last year of the wheat design, collectors have always set it apart as a must-have for completing wheat penny sets. In addition, the 1958 series has a famous error coin known as the 1958 doubled die obverse, which is one of the rarest and most valuable Lincoln cent errors ever discovered. Though the standard no mint mark coin itself is already desirable, the possibility of finding a double die variant elevates its reputation among treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts. Even without the error, however, the no mint mark Philadelphia issue remains a prize due to its end-of-era significance. When analyzing its market performance, auction records show consistent appreciation over time. Decades ago, these coins could be purchased for modest sums, but today their value has skyrocketed in higher mint state grades. A perfect or near-perfect example can reach thousands of dollars, and recent auction results have demonstrated values surpassing $5,500, especially when graded MS66 or above with full red luster. Collectors seek out coins with original mint, brilliance, minimal contact marks, and sharp details, since these qualities dramatically increase both rarity and desirability. The demand is particularly strong among Lincoln cent specialists who strive to own every date and variety of this iconic series. The historical backdrop of 1958 also adds to the coin's charm. America was in the midst of post-war prosperity, with a booming economy, technological advancements, and cultural shifts that would shape the decades to follow. The penny circulated widely in an era where small change held more purchasing power than today. For children, it was enough to buy a handful of candies. For adults, it contributed to everyday transactions that carried the rhythm of American life. Owning a coin from that year is like holding a piece of mid-20th century history, reminding us of simpler times and the value of money in daily life. Collectors also admire the artistic and symbolic elements embedded in the design. The wheat ears on the reverse represent not only agricultural abundance, but also the resilience and strength of the American people. In contrast, the Lincoln portrait on the obverse symbolizes leadership, unity, and the preservation of the Union during the nation's darkest hour. This blend of symbolism gives the penny a timeless quality, ensuring that even long after it stopped circulating widely, it remains a beloved collectible. The 1958 no mint mark issue, being the last of its kind, encapsulates this legacy perfectly. For investors, the coin represents a stable and rewarding asset. Its historical final year status ensures that demand will remain strong, while its limited availability in higher grades makes it a sound choice for those looking to diversify their numismatic portfolio. Unlike modern coins that are still produced in abundance, the 1958 wheat cent cannot be made again, and its scarcity will only increase with time as fewer examples survive in top condition. For these reasons, it has become both a sentimental keepsake and a financial investment, offering long-term potential to collectors and investors alike. Another aspect that adds allure to the 1958 penny is its cultural impact. Wheat pennies as a whole are often the first coins that spark a child's interest in collecting. Many families still recall finding wheat cents in pocket change during the mid-20th century, creating a sense of nostalgia that fuels ongoing interest. For younger collectors, owning the 1958 edition is a way of connecting with the experiences of parents and grandparents who handled these coins daily. It is a tangible reminder of family history and shared generational heritage, making it far more than just a piece of metal. In conclusion, the 1958 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark is an extraordinary coin that combines history, rarity, artistry, and market value. It stands as the closing chapter of the beloved wheat penny era and marks the transition to the modern Lincoln memorial design. While common in lower circulated grades, examples in exceptional condition remain scarce and command impressive prices, often reaching $5,500 or more. Its symbolism, design, and historical timing make it one of the most important coins for any Lincoln cent collection. Whether cherished as a collector's prize, valued as an investment, or remembered as a nostalgic piece of American history, the 1958 wheat penny with no mint mark continues to capture the imagination of numismatists around the world.